Joined now by Toronto Raptors head coach Darko Rajakovic. Coach, I think we want to start here, right? Coming into this season, nobody knew what to expect with this team. But by all accounts, this season has been fun. Would you say it's been the players, how you've been able to coach them, or what's really gone into this team being so fun to coach?
It's several things. Obviously, we are in a second year of our rebuild. A lot of changes happened inside the organization, inside the team. Went through rough stretch last year with very young team, and those guys getting a lot of playing minutes. Obviously, bringing Brandon Ingram on the team was a huge for us. Sandro Mamukelashvili joining us, getting Colin Murray-Boyles in the draft was very important for us. And all of those things with amazing work ethic from our group gave us, when we talked about it at the start of the season, we were talking about fun and enjoyment and like representing the city the right way and having playing with a lot of energy, with a lot of grit. I think that's what guys are bringing every single day to any practice, any preparation, and they're trying to get into the games as well.
Well, you talk about the fun side, and already this team has exceeded last year's win total, right? But everybody wants to win. As a coach, I think there's a underlying passion when you see your players have individual success, right? You talk about Scotty Barnes being a two-time All-Star and Brandon Ingram being an All-Star for the second time after 6 years. How does that make you feel in terms of your guys' development?
I think it tells a lot about the program that we have in place and how much we invest in our players. For me as a coach, players always come first and always got to work on developing their game, putting them in situations to be successful, cheering that for them, because once you invest in the players, then the team results are going to follow. And that's what we're doing. And it's Scotty and it's BI, but it's also development that we're seeing with Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and Jacoby Walter and all the young guys that we have on the team.
So you mentioned putting the players in a position to be successful. And I always say, if I was still a player, I would love to play in your system because it's so much more concepts, right? Free flowing. It's not as many sets. And we're going to take a look at, a couple of them here. But what's gone into you being able to get Brandon Ingram into really good positions and Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley playing it all at a high level?
I think most of it goes back to players, right? Their willingness to play off of each other. We have a group that's very cohesive. They cheer for each other. They want to share the ball. We're the fourth best team in the league with in a number of assists that we have per game. And I think for players, all the players, they love playing in a system that allows everybody to touch the ball and play off of each other. And then at the end of the day, best players, they're going to get most touches, they're going to get the most positions, most shots. And I think that it really goes down to that. And for us, it's very important to provide good spacing so our guys can play off of that.
So let's start with Brandon Ingram. With him, I find it's very strange because you've used a lot of horns actions, a lot of floppies, that's stuff that's back in the day, right? And also the regular pin downs, right? So just walk us through a couple of these actions here.
So right here, we wanted to get in the first pick and roll right here to start of the game to see if they're going to be switching with him or not. Okay, Oklahoma City decides to keep their matchups. He was being guarded by Lou Dort. That's why we're going in a secondary action. And we want RJ Barrett to curl off of there to create confusion with defense. Are they switching or not? That's enough to allow that Lou Dort goes under the screen and he's off the body and allows us to set really good screen by CMB and get an open shot for the BI.
Talk about Brandon Ingram coming off those screens. How receptive was he to being more of a screener in some of those horns actions, but also not just playing one-on-one isolation, but as you can see here, coming off of screens and then working from that space?
Now, we talked about it at the start of the season that the game is changing.
Yeah.
The game is constantly evaluating. And for Brandon, it was very important to understand that he needs to be himself and to play his game, but at the same time, he's got to be willing and open to do more things to help our team to be successful and winning team. And that a lot of times demands him playing without a ball, a lot of times demands that he needs to set some screens, that he needs to be in the right spacing on the court, and also that allows us to run in transition, because with Scotty and Quickley and RJ, we're the team that runs in the transition a lot.
Well, and now you touch on Scotty. It's a little different with Scotty. I've noticed this season, we've kind of graduated from him getting those entries at the elbow, but he really likes that left block, right? So just walk us through this here, because he's had a number of actions where he's getting it to that left block and just working.
Yeah, so we start over here with a rip screen and making defense switch over there, and that's allowing us to go and post up against mismatch close to the rim. After the ball goes in for him, it's very important to get the right spacing on the floor. So over here, after the ball gets inside, we want Jakob to go right away on the baseline. We knew that playing against San Antonio, they're always bringing their 5 men as a help. And they're kind of like half committing there. And this is allowing Scotty to make a move, to read where Yak is on the weak side while we have our shooters spaced out outside. So this fadeaway shot is a very good shot for Scotty, and we're always looking forward to get him those shots.
So then, it's very interesting because you mentioned San Antonio half committing with that big, but they come from the baseline side, right? And I think, what's your philosophy there in terms of the double teaming from the passer or baseline side?
So the moment they're coming from a baseline, we want whoever that player there is, a lot of times there's going to be our 5 man who's going to be in a dunker spot. We want that player to go and flood on a baseline side, close to the baseline. And we want opposite side, the wing, to be able to cut 45 from the wing. That way we're getting 2 outlets close to the rim in the paint, and we're getting 2 shooters right in front of the ball, and opposite side wing to be wide open for shots. So both Brendan Ingram and Scotty, they're doing a really good job of finding those solutions in those situations.
And both those guys have done a good job of finding shooters. Emmanuel Quickley has shot the basketball really well of late. He also, at the end of the Washington Wizards game, he said, you have interesting ways of coaching the team, right? And you lit fire under the guys at halftime of that Washington game. In terms of him specifically, now he's playing some really good basketball. It's been up and down early. How have you coached him?
I think every player is different, and the state of the team is changing as the season is progressing. Sometimes, players, they need more encouragement, they need love and support. Yeah. Love is always there, even when it's coming to like you said, lighting some fire. And I think what we're always trying to do is we're trying to play to our standard. How we want to be defensively, how do we want to play on offensive side of the ball, and we're holding ourselves accountable for those. So anytime when we are not playing up to that standard, I got to find the best way how to reach out to the team and help them to get back to it.
And early on in the year, you and I spoke and made mention of trying to get IQ off of the basketball earlier so that he can get into scoring positions, right? And I feel like this is one of those actions right here.
Yes, so again, good example from game against San Antonio. We get him on this DHO earlier here. We knew that on DHO actions they're going to be switching, but off-ball actions that they're not switching. So this was planned over here for us, for them to go in a first switch, and now BI looks like he's cutting through, and the last moment he's setting a good screen over here for Emmanuel. Emmanuel is doing a really good job coming off with pace and force. That's creating confusion, and they're not coming back with him. They're not switching off-ball screens. So now, because of that, Yak is able just to give him a good handoff over there for a wide open 3.
And those two have some really good connection and really good chemistry. Yak obviously being one of the better screeners on the team and in the league. But now Yak he looks like he's getting healthy, right? And setting good screens, rolling to the basket. What does he bring to this unit for you?
He brings so much. Defensively, he brings a guy who is very smart. He knows how to position himself to be in the right spots on the court, to cover for all the gaps on the defensive side. And offensively, just like you said, he is a great screener. He plays really well in the pocket pass, but also what he does really well, he's playing when he does not have the ball, when he's playing in dunker spot around the rim. He does a good job of providing good spacing for his teammates to make play, and from there for him to go for offensive rebounds.
Perfect that you mentioned spacing, right? And gonna get a look at this one right here and taking a look at this first screen that he sets, which obviously engages Kornet. And then after that, Kornet falls asleep, right? But it's the screener for me, the big screen.
So as we're coming off that first screen, Jak is creating advantage there for Jacoby on that cut, and because of that, Kornet has to come and help and protect the rim. At the same time, we have a high-level shooter, a high-level player in BI coming off of double screen. And because he's coming off of double screen with such force, now that's forcing defense, first of all, to be late. And now Kornet, he's looking to help over there, which allows just enough space and time for Jak to read that the defense is over helping and allows him to go to the rim for an easy layup.
Now, you talk about Jak's presence on the offensive end. This is probably the side of the ball that you really love, right? The defensive side of the basketball. This has been a top 10 defense for the better part of this season, right? Sometimes even a top 5. What has gone into this group being such a really good defensive team?
A lot of commitment to hard work. Defense is a thing that you gotta really work very hard. Everything really starts how you're guarding the ball, how you set the tone on the ball. And for us, a lot of times that's going to be or Scotty, or IQ, or Jamal Shed, or Jacoby. Those guys are really setting the tone on the ball. And once you have those guys setting the tone on the ball, that gets everybody else on the team, wings and bigs and everybody else to be much more aggressive on the defensive side.
Get a look at one of these defensive sets here. And great scramble, right? But just walk us through everything.
So over here, Jamal is doing a really good job of getting his chest in front of the ball. And Jakov is doing a really good job of protecting the paint. We have everybody there that paint is loaded. On the re-screen, we go again under on the screen and make sure that we have a great closeout on the Aaron Fox in the corner, which allows us right now from Jamal's position to be in really good eagle position in a gap, so that he's not allowing any easy drives to the rim. As he's going in a post up, we're allowed to go and dig more, knowing who's standing in front of the ball and making sure that we're controlling that close out back to Harper. Now on a spin there, Jak does really good job of plugging everything at the baseline, so there is nothing at the rim there. Whole paint is protected, and now we can build out and guard and have a late closeout on Harper on the 3.
And a lot of this stems from, it starts with Scotty Barnes setting the tone, right? Scotty Barnes, the only player in the NBA with 80 or more steals and 80 or more blocks, right? I think we could probably both agree that he's the most versatile defender in the NBA. With that said, there's a lot of conversation about, Scotty Barnes should probably be a bit more in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Where do you stand there?
I think you're right on point. I think there is no other player in NBA at this point that does so many different things defensively. He's taking on different matchups. He's guarding point guards. He's guarding wings. He's guarding 5-man, and he's doing that on a nightly basis. He's going to be guarding different matchup, every single night, and he does it on such a high level. It's not like he's struggling with point guards, but does a good job on wings. He does a lead job on doesn't matter who the matchup is. He's doing a lead job, and he's setting the tone for us.
When you have Scotty Barnes match up against guards in the open court, is a lot of it his length or more his positioning and angles?
It is everything. It's his ability to move his feet. It's ability to position really well. It's his length that allows him to create deflections and steals. And a lot of times that's creating really good for offense for us. He is the guy that does not shy away from aggressiveness, does not shy away. He actually encourages and wants to play full court defense. All that hand activity that he's creating there is allowing everybody else to be positioned really well on the court. And once he gets those steals, it's really fueling our offense.
No losses, just learning. Coach, appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All righty, thanks a lot.